Alright, welcome back everybody. This is of course the Sim Experience SA 2024 Mazda MX5 Cup. This of course is round 8 coming to you from the PORTIMAO Grand Prix circuit in Portugal. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell and joined once again by Sean Woodgate. Welcome back, Sean.
Well, we've got to actually say welcome back to you, Dennis, and great to hear your voice again, and that we can be running at full speed and full steam and have a picture going out. So nice to have you back, and always a pleasure for me to be here commentating on the sim racing on the MX5 Cup 2024 calendar, with this the third last race of the season.
Thanks very much. Yeah, good to be back and good to hear your voice as well. Let's just have a quick look at our points since we did miss a round. So last week, unfortunately, we weren't able to stream due to all the sorts of medical issues on my side, technical issues on my side, but thankfully we're actually back up and running tonight. So we had to do a double update on the points, but it looked like there was quite a lot of action last week because Yandre Dippenaar is close right up to Jason Underwood. So Jason Underwood is going to be kept honest tonight. Sean Ulufia up to third, Gerrit Piekers down to fourth. Andre Hildebrandt and Rian van der Westhuizen jumping up from lower down to fifth and sixth respectively. Absolutely amazing. This shows you consistency is everything in this series. And then going through the field all the way down to Rudy van der Westhuizen in 20th. I'm just going to quickly go through this. I think we do have some of the drivers on circuit already. All the way down to 30th, which is Donnie Stunder, which we haven't seen in a few rounds. Alright, as we just wait for the drivers to all come around. Alright, we are now live. This, of course, is the qualifying. It's a 15-minute qualifying, although we do have about 12 minutes left to go. A 15-minute qualifying, then we'll head into a 20-minute race 1 and then a 20-minute race 2 with a 5-minute break in between. And this of course is round 8 out of our 10-round championship. Next week we'll head over to Brands Hatch Indy, and then we'll be heading over to Hockenheim on the 23rd. I'm actually not sure, is that correct? I think it is correct. It is, yeah, the 23rd. All right. Alright, let's get all our timings up. I'm a bit rusty here, but good to be back. I'm sure I'll get into the swing of things. So last week, Sean, you were hoping to jump in and comment while I was sort of unable to do anything, and that was kind of the plan, was to get everything up and running so that you could hopefully do it, because I was under the weather. But then, of course, I had hardware issues here and I couldn't even get on to do the stream. So both PCs were literally disconnected from the internet. So I have a secondary router which had decided literally to die within minutes of the stream going live. So for this week I've actually got a spare network switch connected here, and that all seems to be working nicely. So fingers crossed everything stays all hunky-dory for tonight.
Yeah, one thing you can't change is that hardware does break. Same in computing as in your motor car. You've got it just back from the shop having it serviced, and something that wasn't touched at all decides to give the ghost. But certainly in computer hardware there are many components that can also decide not to cooperate. And as you said, you've gone the other way. For those of you that are into IT, the difference between a switch and a router, I'm not going to try and explain it to you, but they're similar but not quite the same. But depending how you configure them, you can get them to do similar functions. So I had nothing to look at, and nothing was going out on the stream anyway. So even the ladies and the support teams had nothing to look at other than, I think, looking over the driver's shoulder in real time if he drives with screens in front of him rather than in VR. So there I sat all dressed up and no place to go.
Yeah, it turned out like, it seems just from the results anyway, it was quite an interesting race. We had drivers sort of in the top 3 that aren't usually in the top 3. We had Julian Brains getting a third in race 2, which was excellent. We had Rian van der Westhuizen getting a 4th place. So there were drivers that aren't usually up at the front having a really good round the last round. So apologies to those drivers that we weren't able to showcase it for all their fans.
Yeah, these things happen. But I'm sure they're all happy to be fighting another day. I see a nice field of 15 cars out on track at the moment.
Yeah, we have 17 cars on track, 15 times posted at the moment.
Okay, so they've still got to go across the line. which is a nice field to have. I remember when this series started, there were a lot of guys, and later up, it's the Benz family. There's Emily, so they back. They were away, so it's nice to have them back. And of course, if you're away for a race or two, that really chucks your championship, because I think Emily was as high as 8th in the championship, and then they decided to go on holiday, and they didn't compete. I see the Flying Bumble was around.
Jonathan, I think, was up to 3rd as well, so he also lost out quite a lot by going away. And he's another driver that had a good round last week. So he got 2 second places. Yandre Duppenaar got the double victory. So Yandre is really on good form at the moment. And Yandre is, carrying that form into this round. Jason has to be careful. He's not going to lose the championship, because it's come down to less than 100 points.
Yeah. We were talking about it when the championship started, is the way that the Americans do it, with like really bags full of points that you get. And then you get bonus points for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd on the qualifying as well. It's not a ton of points compared to a win, but if you can do that consistently, then certainly through 10, if you can be in the top 3 and get one of those bonus points consistently every race meeting, that adds up to almost the points for a win of one whole race. So not to be smirked at, definitely worthwhile. And then the part that I enjoy is that in race 2, they take the finishing order of race 1 and reverse the grid positions from 1st to 10th, swap them around. So I won't call them the slow guys, but the people that aren't necessarily podium finishers in the first race, they actually get a chance to start in the front few rows. And we've seen in previous formulas where we've done that, guys that have been possibly in the top 5 or 10, if they get the chance to start on pole, then they're off like a scalded cat, never to be seen again in a race, with all the battles that rage behind them, because some of the guys in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, as an example, might be slower and holding up the quicker guys that are starting from 10th, 9th, and 8th, which makes for exciting racing.
See this red sign on the left-hand side there that just went by? That, I think, is new in the circuit. So the circuit has been updated. That sign wasn't there before, and the whole pit buildings, everything around the pit seems to have been renovated. So the track has had its layout renovated, or in the sim it's been renovated. So it's quite different actually. As you drive on board, you'll see 1 or 2. We did race here before, but that was the chicane layout, but it is on the exact same circuit. It's just we were cutting out some of the corners. Now it's the full Grand Prix circuit, but the track has had quite a lot of updates to it. The surface has changed slightly. The undulations aren't quite as aggressive in some areas, and there's definitely more buildings that have either appeared or have just been renovated. So the track looking quite a lot nicer.
Talking about undulations, that's one of the things that I enjoy, and I think the drivers do as well. In real racing, the drivers that have come to South Africa and raced at Kyalami, one of the things I really love about Kyalami is the big climb up to West Bank and then the big drop down the other side, is the elevation change. Also, from if you end the end of the pit straight, although in the new layout it's different, we used to go left up the hill towards turn 3. That's also quite an elevation change, and the guys really enjoy that compared to just running a circuit that has a flat layout. And it's not a criticism, I'm just stating it as fact. A lot of the fields or tracks used in the UK were previously airfields, which by nature of what they were used for are very flat, so all they have is corners and things on them. But the change in elevation certainly makes that a very interesting race. The Algarve is a well-known holiday destination, so you can see them. Yeah, this is I think called the Circuit International de Algarve or something like that.
Yes, it has multiple names, but called PORTIMAO, but Algarve is the other name, yes.
Yeah. And there you can see they've actually looked like this specific corner, they've chopped into the hillside there to get the corner in place. So there you can see them go up the hill, which is probably the rest of it. And yeah, a nice few elevation changes. There's probably a building that you might say has been changed. I can't remember the layout of that previously, but certainly interesting track layout.
This corner, the left, just before this is bollards, you'll see the bollards on the left there. That's where we came out from the chicane layout. Here's that red sign that I was talking about. That's different.
Yeah, that's the Autodromo whatever the Algarve. So that's one if they got they put that up just for, shall I say, publicizing the circuit. and the fact that it has been redone. Comments out of the driver's briefing was that the curbs are not to be abused because they are quite harsh. So that some of the guys actually say that it changes the line quite a bit, which is a good thing. So you've got to stay away there. Those yellow curbs, I think, got mentioned specifically that they can be quite rough on suspension. And certainly the balance of the car is not what you want it to be. Yeah, that just seems to be paint. So not that it's a sausage curb as such, but the guys were saying that the track is different to what they've raced here before, which is a good thing that effectively it's a fairly new circuit to everybody.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice that everyone's on level playing fields. Although sometimes you need a bit of knowledge to have more exciting racing and you know where to push, but it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Right, Andre Hildebrand coming up to the line. This is going to be a personal best. Where is it going to take him to? Currently 11th. This, I think, maybe 9th or 8th. And it doesn't improve, actually.
See, they're also going down the other side of the straight is you drop away in altitude, so I think you're going to be lying quite heavily because it's so downhill. All the weight of the car is going to be on the front wheels when you get onto the brakes for that first corner.
So Jonathan Bentz turning in. Let's see, is he going to be able to carry the momentum up the hill here? The last time we were here, Jonathan had weight in his car, and he was saying at the time that this is one of the tracks where the weight penalties you don't necessarily notice in these cars on a flat surface, but when you do notice it is all the undulations and up these steep hills. And this track, one or two of the corners, it's quite a steep incline, and he said with the weight you could definitely feel the car bogging down. So he doesn't have that this time around. He'll definitely be up there in pace. As we see, he is currently in 8th place. I'm sure he'll go a little bit quicker in a moment. I think when he had the weight here, he had qualified 4th, if I remember correctly.
Just for those that are wondering what Dennis is talking about, the sim system does have a penalty, or if we go and look at the race, if there are people that note protest, and that protest is then observed, and the judges of fact have a good look at it, and they are then able to dish out weight penalties for the next race meeting. And if you were deemed to be a bit harsh in your driving style, let's call it that, then you get a weight penalty, and that's what he was talking about, that Jonathan said. Because the cars, let's face it, the MX5 in racing car terms is not a very highly powered car. So any weight, extra weight that you're carrying around unnecessarily, then that is going to hold you back, specifically when there's a change in elevation. Those cars that go around, as I said, on the airfield circuits, then it'll affect your cornering and your handling ability. But certainly when you go up hills and things, then you're carrying that extra weight, and it has an influence on your lap time.
And we're down to the last minute. Of course, with this sim, you don't get to finish your lap. So once the time ends, that's it, which is quite a strange thing. Currently, we have Gerrit Bierkes in provisional pole. He has pitted. Jason Underwood has pitted. Sean Olivier is still on the lap. Our times have all popped up, so I guess that will tick over in a moment. I'm just going to do it on the screen quickly.
It's Gerrit Bierkes from Jason Underwood, then Morne de Plooy in 3rd position, Sean Olivier, Timo Smit, Jan-Ray Dippenaar in 6th, Jonathan Bentz in 7th, Matthew Renault got 3 in 8th, Emily Benz in 9th, Rian van der Westhuizen in 10th, Andre Hildebrand 11th, Julian Brains 12th, Stan Versteyden 13th, Gavi Gous in 14th, 15th is Rudy van Westhuizen, 16th Johan Bierkes, and 17th Caroline Jooster.
And we're going to jump to an ad break. We'll be back shortly for race 1. right, welcome back everybody. This of course is the Sim Experience SA 2024 Mazda MX5 Cup, brought to you by the Safe Boys. I don't think I introduced them in the build-up, so of course this series is sponsored by the Safe Boys. If you have any issues with safes, whether you need to buy a safe, new or old, or you need to have someone get into a safe, you can give thesafeboys.com a shout and I'm sure they'll be able to help you out. This of course is race 1 coming up of round 8, a 20-minute race. We'll have a second 20-minute race after this with the top 10 results reversed. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, joined once again by Sean Woodgate. Welcome back, Sean.
Good evening. Thanks, Dennis, and welcome back to you as well. Great to be here. Nice to be racing again.
All right.
And they're away.
Yeah. Looks like everyone's having a bit of a slow start, but everyone's just getting up to speed. These cars are a bit slow off the line.
Jason looks as though he got the jump on everybody, and Gerrit Beekers was down to third and then back up to second again. So everything happening even in the first few corners, but looks as though there's enough space for everybody to get through quite cleanly.
Yeah, so Jason actually getting the jump on Gerrit, because Gerrit I think had provisional pole position. Oh, a slowdown for Andre Hildebrandt.
That's pretty strict and pretty early, so that just sort of will set the tone. And looks as though Sean Olivier is pushing Gerrit Beekers early in, and that means that Gerrit will have to defend a little bit, which might mean that Jason's going to get more away from him than what he would prefer. So Gerrit has a lot of racing to do, both the rearview mirror racing as well as looking in front of him, but already half a second or so that Jason is in the lead.
Looking at some of the other cameras while we're watching this. Our cameras seem to be doing weird things.
Yeah, Janre in 6th position, and there you can see actually that ahead of Janre is Jonathan and then Timo, and 3 very different lines being taken by the 3 of them. So it looks like this is a nice wide circuit, and depending on your racing or your driving style, and whether you're defending from somebody trying to attack from behind, you might take a different line on the road. But generally, you try and get to the apex every time and use all of the road to go into the corner, clip the apex, and then drift the car out of the corner, and then have the catapult effect to try and get the maximum speed out. So Jason's still half a second ahead of Gerrit Beekers, Sean Olivier in 3rd, Timo Smit in 4th as we look back from Jason Underwood's car. And Andre Hildebrandt still hasn't served the slowdown. He's in 10th place, but he's 4 seconds ahead of Rudy. So I think he can slow down and have the system pick that up. And it's just going to show a slight difference. Yeah, there it disappears now. There it's still on the camera on the left. Jonathan Benz now gets one. So, yeah. Track limits are very much in effect today, so everybody must pay attention to that early on. So for Jonathan, it might be a little bit more severe because he's in amongst the pack that are racing for position up in the, I wouldn't say the top of the field, but a slowdown might mean that whoever's chasing him is going to be closing up that gap quite a lot. There's a change for position. It's about 3 cars behind, so I think that might be... Is that Jonathan and Jason, or Timo Smit might be up to 4th, so there's another change again. Yeah, Timo Smit, Jonathan gets past Janre Dippenaar. Janre Dippenaar takes it back again. So they're fighting each other, and that'll mean that Timo Smit in 4th position will be able to get away from the 2 of them.
And he looks like he's having a nice challenge here on Sean Olivier at the moment.
Yeah, it's only 0.2, 0.4 of a second, so close racing, but let's see what's happening between Jason and Gerrit. It's still about half a second, 0.6 of a second. The Flying Bumblebee in 2nd place, and Jason Underwood, not used to having Jason in a white car, but nonetheless, he's holding on to the lead by that half a second, and that seems to be constant for now, as we have completed virtually 4 minutes of this race. Emily Benz also being harsh on the corner, and the system being harsh on Emily, a slowdown penalty for track abuse.
I think Jonathan's got a good drive on Janre. Yeah, he might take a dive into turn 1. In the slipstream you can see he's getting a nice bit of draft here.
Yeah, and also a lot of red and repainting done to the pit complex, as you were saying, Dennis. Certainly looks very, very good. Yeah, they're next to each other going into turn one. Oh, was that cutting off the nose? Yes, it does. And who was far enough in the lead? Is that Jonathan that got off worst on that one?
I think it's a very difficult corner. I think it's maybe just a racing incident.
Yeah, Jonathan gets going again. So now where he was fairly high up, he finds himself in 10th position, 3.5 seconds ahead of, I think that's Rudy van Westhuizen. But Jonathan is almost 2 seconds behind Andre Hildebrand. Here's the leading four, still Jason, Gerrit, Sean and Timo. So not much has changed there. We still see that first and second is separated by about half a second. And Sean Olivier also half a second behind Gerrit Beekes for third. And Timo Smit about 0.3 of a second behind Sean Olivier. That's in fourth position. So first, second, third and fourth, not much in it. And there comes Jonathan. Who does he get past there? He's still in 10th. Maybe it's... no, he wouldn't have had any damage. It was a straightforward spin. So unless the contact was on the left front wheel, I don't know. But nonetheless, he should be holding on to that 10th position. Still 1.5 seconds behind Andre Hildebrand, who's 4.5 seconds behind Matty Renault.
Sam Zayden did a nice battle here with Harvey Coates and Julian Brains. They sort of zigzagging back and forward as well.
Here's that nice elevation change we were talking about that they are running, so it makes for a nice race if you've got to actually climb hills and dip down in the valleys.
Here comes Timo.
Gerrit Beekes now.
And Timo's got a good run here as well. It's Gerrit having a good run on Jason.
Yeah, Sean Olivier drives a very defensive line. That car is as wide as a Caterpillar. That's a tractor I'm talking about. And he forces him to take the outside line, as does Gerrit have to take the outside line trying to get past Jason Underwood. So Gerrit maybe enjoys that line because he's close right up onto Jason. So in the bigger picture of things, Jason and Timo are teammates. So there's a nudge, I think, from behind Sean Olivier on Gerrit Beekes. But I think that's just that the two of them break at different points into that corner, and maybe that just caught him by surprise. So no damage done there by the looks of it, and everybody still seems to hold on to those positions.
And of course, you've got Monet Deploy right behind Andre Duppenaar here for 5th and 6th place.
Yeah. Unluckily, Janre's 1.5 seconds away from Timo. Otherwise, this could have been a very nice dice for the top 6. But between Janre and Monet in 5th and 6th, they're a bit further back. But Monet's only 0.2 of a second behind Janre, so everything to go for there. And Monet driving very well, certainly holding him very, very honest for that track position. And 12.5 minutes to go in this race.
I think with a gap like that, it's not that big of a gap. I think if the top 4 guys just battle it out just a little bit, they can very, very quickly lose that gap that they've got to Andre, and it can be a 6-way battle.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. But at this stage, Jason he's restored half a second, but Sean Olivier still only 0.2, 0.3 behind Gerrit Beekes, and Timo Smit only half a second behind Sean Olivier in 4th. So the top 4 are, shall we say, almost equidistant from each other. And then there's a fairly big gap. But if Janre does get going and he pulls Deploy with him, then that could be very interesting. So we see here 2 sets of cars behind the top 4. So it's 5th and 6th, and then 7th and 8th. So that's Emily and Matty. Emily in 7th, Matty in 8th. So they've got a little battle of their own here. Yeah, they decide to get out from the slipstream now. Is this going to be
using the full width of the track?
Yeah. And that might actually cost Gerrit some speed. Yes, it does. So Gerrit loses that position to Sean Olivier, because Sean Olivier could sweep from the extreme left as he looks at the track, sweep across the bows of Gerrit and take the racing line through it. And it looks as though he got past him with a real slingshot there and got good speed out of that corner. The track is nice and wide, I must say. There's plenty of space for everybody. Here's that battle we were talking about earlier on. Is that Janre and...
No, this is Matty and Emily.
Oh, Matty and Emily. So Emily is trying her best to get or stay ahead of Matty, and I think she has a brake marker that is earlier than Matty, because it looks as though he actually had to change direction to the right there to miss going into her. Yeah, she takes the racing line. She actually misses the apex by about a car's width. And this time she clips the apex, so she does that one quite correctly. Maybe just a combination of corners, that is the racing line, that you don't exactly clip the apex for the first part of the corner, but you make sure that you do so for the second part. There you can see again, she just runs the rumble strip, so in other words, you use the extreme. Here again, she missed by half the car's width. There again, by a complete car's width. So not using the corner to maximum advantage. I think it could be fractions of a second, but if you count up enough fractions, then you might have 0.1 or 0.2 of a second. What's happening in the front? Jason is now, he was a second ahead of Sean Olivier. Timo Smit has also got past Gerrit. The Flying Bumblebee is not having it all his own way. He's down to fourth from second just a lap or two ago.
Yeah, not used to seeing him going backwards. We're used to seeing him going forwards.
Yeah, we were watching Emily and Matty, and I think that's when the change happened. So now again, here comes Gerrit Beekes. He's hunting down Timo Smit. Timo Smit decides to take the defensive line and then go to the racing line. Now he sold him a dummy. But now, can he hold that line?
Oh, Timo loses it on his own.
Yeah, that I think, as Timo gets out of the way and then gets the wheels turned, yeah, that's a clever thing to do, and not just drive straight into oncoming traffic. He got out of the way and then back onto the track again, but he's down to 8th position, and he's 2.2 seconds ahead of Andre Hildebrandt. Here's Emily fighting with Matty still.
Nice side by side coming out of there.
Yeah.
Side by side the whole way down. I think Matty will have it into the hairpin, yeah.
Comment out of the grandstand from Sumeri says that without any practice on the track, that's what happens to Gerrit. So it looks like he didn't spend too much time on the circuit. And also with the guys saying that it's different to what they raced when we were here the first time. If the layout now is different, the corners are different, the curbing is different, then certainly an hour or two spent practicing on the circuit is different. Oh, there's Matty. Still having, who's he having a go at now? Is that with Emily right behind him?
It's Emily, yeah, they're still going at it.
Andre Hildebrandt is, where is he? He's in 9th and he has another slowdown. So,
and he's got John Benz getting past him now as well, so that's cost him a position.
Yeah, as we said, if you get the slowdown,
wow, that was close. That was well, yeah.
You got to. Your natural thing is to tighten the corner, but you've actually got to steer away from. In other words, the two wheels that are still on the ground, you've got to turn to that side, and hopefully change the center of gravity of the car so that the other wheels drop down onto the tarmac. Because while your two wheels in the air, you've only got grip on the two wheels, and that doesn't often work. You easily go, that was just a touch, but that was a mistake by Harvey himself, I think. And he takes the scenic route, and he takes the very scenic route and into the gravel. So he's seen every aspect. I think he might pull it to one side. He's still going, although he's now 7 seconds behind Stan. But it was just a touch on the front wheel, and if you have that, if you're on the edge of the grip and you get a touch, it unbalances the car and you go into a spin. And to recover out of it when it happens like that, then it's very, very difficult. Who's Mornay chasing?
Younger Dippenaar.
He's in 4th, so that's also a turn up for the books. Sean Olivier has a slowdown. That's not very good because Gerrit Beekes is 1.2 seconds behind him. It looks almost as if Gerrit has settled for 3rd. Sean Olivier with a slowdown. I think he'll keep Gerrit behind him, but certainly behind them, Jandre and Mornay, they are certainly fighting it out for 4th and 5th position. And he did get past Emily. Emily's in a solid 7th position. So everything to fight for and try and hold on to those positions on the track. It seems to have all settled down now. The only one is Sean Olivier, that is just over half a second behind Jason. But Jason seems to have settled that position. There's Julian with that, shall we say, Defence Force green car of his that's recognizable a mile away. But certainly he's consistently, or not consistently, but Julian's been running in 12th position and not really challenging at the moment. How far is he behind? He's 10 seconds behind Richard, I think it is. They always mix me up, which is Richard, which is Rion, because they either side of Julian. So the fun of X-Stations.
Oh, Rudy and Rian, sorry. Oh.
Rudy and Rion, sorry. But yeah, they are much further back in the field. Here's Mornay Deploy trying on Yandre Dippenaar for turn 1. He's going to dive up on the inside. I think that hesitance cost him, because then you're like in no man's land and you're too late to dive up the inside and you can't commit. Now he goes to the outside. You must watch that. He might just get a slowdown. Gerrit Beukes has got a slowdown, track limits, but he's got 1.8 seconds ahead of Yandre. So Andre Hildebrand has got another slowdown penalty. So the system is really being strict but consistent, and everybody gets to slow down when they use more than the intended track width.
So 4.5 minutes to go. Timo is catching Emily and Matty. So Timo could still bring back 6th place after having that small mistake earlier on.
Yeah, 1.1 seconds to Emily. So with 4.5, let's say, minutes to go, he could still make a difference in, as he is at the moment. The other sweep, if you take the start of the second race, then Timo's going to start in 3rd if he were to finish in 8th. So there's that to consider as well. But points in the bag is always worth it, because you don't know what might happen in the second race, so you rather fight for everything you're worth to get the points in the first race and then deal with whatever hand of cards you get at the start of the second race with a reverse grid of the top 10.
And Sean Oliver is still giving Jason a hard time, yeah?
Yeah, it's 0.7 of a second. Gerrit, as we say, I think he's consolidated for 3rd. He's 1.8 seconds back. Yandre Dippenaar is another 1.9 seconds back. But is it Marius? He's only 0.2 of a second behind Yandre. That is a fight for 5th and 4th position that could still go right down to the wire. There they come. We just got a glimpse of that. There they come over the hill now, the 2 red and white cars. And again, they go to the extreme there, right, as we're looking at them now, the left. And that makes 2 very different racing lines. And depending who gets the better, is it more than the track limits? I think he didn't actually get such a good run out of that corner. Although, that being said, the car in front of him can, of course, do a blocking line because he's ahead, and it is the racing line, so he can change direction once for the racing line. You don't want to have a car weaving across your bows, but certainly you want to stay on track limits as well and not have that yellow penalty pop up, because when one's that close, then certainly things can make a difference. It is Sean Olivier that has got to slow down, but Gerrit Beukes is far enough behind that Sean can actually slow down and just carry on driving and not have it make a difference on his 2nd place.
But Yandre better hope he doesn't get a slow down, because he's got Monet right on his bumper.
Yeah. So Yandre in the red car with white, Monet in the white car with red, if that makes any sense. So the one that's more red on top, that's Yandre, and the one that's more white on top, that's Monet. Yeah, they come towards us now. You'll see what I'm talking about. But certainly they have a... Oh, Emily has another penalty against her. How far behind her is Matty? Matty's only 0.3 of a second, so if Emily does the slowdown, she might in fact lose 6th position.
And also a position to Timo, because Timo's right there.
Yeah, so just one overdrive of the circuit, and that's what the net effect could be. It stays up, so she hasn't slowed down on it yet. There she goes wide, stays wide. Now she's going to try and do the cutback. Is this Timo coming up on her? And she, whether that got nudged or whether she lost the back end, the camera was not placed perfectly that we can actually see what happened there. But the net result is that Emily drops down to 8th position, Timo to 7th, and Matty up to 6th. So while driven to Matty, he really make hay while the sun shines, and everybody else in front of him competing, and he was there to pounce and run away with the bone while the 2 dogs were struggling ahead of him. Yeah, it's still Yandre and Monet. The Monet Deploy is still trying to make that count. Yandre is trying to hold on to that 4th position for dear life with less than a minute to go. where does Jason find himself? He's not too far ahead of them, so I didn't look at what the lap times were, but with 45 seconds to go, I imagine this might be
This
the
will be
last lap.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes 3 per lap.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
the
last
race
lap.
leaders are not too far ahead of them, and only half a minute or so to go.
I guess I can put that up there.
Yeah, so Jason from Sean Willifie first and second, then Gerrit Beekers holding on for dear life. He's managed to consolidate that now for third. Jan-Ray Dippenaar is 3.5 seconds back. Morne Deploy is virtually right there with him. In fifth position, Matty has got past Timo and Emily, so Matty has taken sixth position, but he can't shout too loudly because Timo's only 0.3 of a second. There's Timo, that's not Timo. Timo Smith is only 0.3 of a second behind Matty, so Matty's got to really concentrate on this last lap. Emily still hasn't served according to the server. There it disappears now. So Emily has now served her slowdown, and she looks as though she's going to get 8th position. But Jonathan is right there behind Emily, only 0.4 seconds adrift, and I think the time is up. So when they get to the finish line, that'll be the race run. Look at this battle still going on. Morne Deploy chasing Jan-Ray and trying to get to him and pass him, but just not being able to do so. Jason Underwood, the race leader, ahead of Sean Willifie, then Gerrit Beekers in the Flying Bumblebee as he comes down the hill. I don't think we saw Jason get any penalty ever, and I think that makes a difference. If you can stay on the circuit, keep it all nice and clean and tidy, then the guys behind you have got to make the mistakes to try and get past you.
Nice victory there for Jason. And Dippenaar defending from all his worth from Morne Deploy. Well defended.
Yeah, I think he's held on just long enough.
And in the background,
then
we have positions swapping and changing. It looks like Timo has just got the better of Matty.
Yeah, and that also, I'm not sure always that going to the extreme right as they drive it is beneficial, especially when you've only got to go as far as the finish line and not all the way down to turn 1. So that was Timo in 7th, Emily in 8th, Jonathan Benz in 9th, Andre Hildebrandt in 10th. I always get mixed up with the Van der Westhuizens, in one of them in 11th, Julian Brains in 12th, and then the other one of the Van der Westhuizens.
Yeah, then it's Rudy.
Yeah, so it's Rudy in 13th, Stan Besaidnout in 14th, Harvey Close in 15th. Is it Johan Beekers? I've got to rack my memory. I've been commentating for 2 weeks and he's in 15th, and Caroline Jooste in 17th position.
So everyone getting at least hopefully to the finish. No DNFs in this race, which should mean we have all of them in the race too. Yes, we seem to have had 1 or 2 DNFs almost every round.
Yeah, and some were due to equipment and this and that, and some were just due to big accidents that the car got so damaged that they couldn't carry on. But yes, that's it. The 17 are across, or it looks as though they're across, and we go to a break until race 2.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the results to pop up. They should pop up in a moment, and then we'll jump to an ad break. Notice as we come into turn 1, there's quite a big cloud over there, so I don't know if weather's going to become an issue. We've never really had any weather in this sim. It seems to always just sort of be nice, decent weather.
Sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there does seem to be a big cloud there.
Yeah, if you go on holiday to the Algarve and it rains, you're going to ask for your money back because it's known for its nice sunshine weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it's pretty much as I said it.
Of course, we have the race winner, Jason Underwood. He also got the fastest lap as well. And we can see the car has now stopped in the shade. You can see the shade there.
Yeah, no points for the fastest lap, but other than personal pride, that you can say, I not only won the race, I was also the quickest car on track.
All right, we're going to jump to an ad break. We'll be back shortly for race 2. Stick around. We'll see you then.
Until then.
right, welcome back everybody. This of course is the Sim Experience SA 2024 Mazda MX5 Cup. We're just waiting for all the drivers to jump onto track. This of course is race 2 today, another 20-minute race. The top 10 will be reversed from race 1. This is round 8, race 2. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, and I'm joined once again by Sean Woodgate. We're just waiting for the drivers to populate the server. It should suddenly go live. I'm not sure why it does this lately, but welcome back, Sean.
Oh, nice to be back. And certainly an interesting race. In the last sort of 1/3 of the race, we saw that mistakes being made and people gaining positions. But I didn't snip the finishing sequence, so it's going to be interesting to see who starts where in the second race.
Andre Hildebrandt is in pole position.
Right, so he's going to enjoy that. He got a few slowdown penalties. The lights go on and they're green and they're away. Andre, Jonathan, Emily, Timo, Matty, Jandre's already taken up, Morne deploy, Sean Olivier, Gerrit Beekers, Jason Underwood. That's about your top 10. And I think there was one swap for position already as Jason got past, or Jonathan, sorry, got past Andre Hildebrandt and pretty quickly got away from him as well.
Yeah, I think Jonathan's going to just clear off here because I think Andre's going to be very defensive from Emily, and I think that's Timo that's right there behind him.
Yeah, Timo's in third, Emily's in fourth. So Timo's in the white car. I think Emily is in the red and white car, and then Matty is in the car that has the blue and silver, if I remember. Sean Olivier up to 6th already. I can't remember where he finished, but he's down to 7th. So Jonathan already almost a second. Andre Hildebrandt holds on to 2nd. Timo Smit takes 2nd back from him again. So they virtually neck and neck. And with this battle happening behind them, Jonathan has a 2nd. You can see the gap there between himself and the rest of the pack as it comes through. There's the Flying Bumblebee, Gerrit Beekers. He didn't have, Andre Hildebrandt has a slowdown, and he's in 4th with Emily Benz only 0.1 of a second behind him. So that slowdown might mean that Emily takes the position away from him. Emily up on the inside of the corner. Just going to see if she can hold on to the line. I think the next one goes the other way, but you can take the defensive line through it, and if you can do so successfully so that the others can't accelerate, then it's a double change of direction. It's almost like a set of S's. So certainly interesting. There's the Flying Bumblebee. Where's Gerrit up to now? He's still in 9th. So, there's a nudge. He just tucks into position. That actually slowed him down, and I'm not sure who it is that got past him there. Matty.
No, I think it was Matty, yes. Jason's behind him, yeah. You've got Rian van der Westhuizen right behind Jason.
I tell you what, shall we say the bottom half of the top 10 is very, very competitive, because at this stage Jonathan is over a second ahead of Timo, who's got Jandre Dippenaar right behind him. So that first, not so much first, but second and third is very close. And Sean Olivier only 0.6 of a second in 4th position. So yeah, you can see first position running away. Matty is fighting, he's in 8th fighting Morne for 7th. So yeah, you can see the battle. Gerrit doesn't have much room to maneuver. Ahead of Gerrit is Matty. Matty's the black car with a bit of yellow, and Gerrit runs the yellow car with a bit of black. There you see them come out of the corner to the left of the screen. They've been screened for a while. But Jonathan has had a good start and certainly has made it pay off, because he's 1.3 seconds ahead of Jandre Dippenaar. Timo Smit in 3rd position, only 0.2 of a second behind Jandre. So that could be a very interesting battle still later on.
We're seeing a lot of slowdowns, but the drivers obviously getting rid of them straight away, because as they're popping up, they're disappearing.
Yeah. And I think also when you're this close together and so many of you, sometimes I think you might need to take avoiding action. I'm not sure if the system recognizes that, and you'll exceed the track limits. There, Emily gets one as well. Emily is half a second ahead of Matty, so it might not be too bad for Emily, but Matty is fighting for all he's worth. Try and catch up to Emily, and it does disappear. So it looks like Emily has served that one. So everything to fight for here, and these races being sprint races, they've hardly started, and the second race is normally chaos. But somebody who's going to disagree is Jonathan Benz. He doesn't have any chaos. He just got into the lead, and 1.5 seconds ahead of Jandre Dippenaar. It's now 1.7. It changes depending who's on the brakes, who's on the accelerator. And Timo only 0.2 of a second behind Jandre. Now, if Timo can make life difficult for Jandre, that means Jonathan's going to be smiling all the way way to the checkered flag, because then he's going to keep that 1.5 second lead, which is what's happening now. Gerrit Beekers gets a slowdown penalty, and he's still only managing to hold on to 10th. So not a great race for Gerrit. Even starting that far back, you'd expect him to be passing Stan Besaidnout in 14th. He's holding on to 14th at this stage, but look at the gap there. It's, as I said, Timo Smit, and right there with him, Jan-Ray Dippenaar. So Timo Smit is in the same colours. Where's Jason? Jason's in 8th. So Jason hasn't had a demon start either, and he's holding on to 8th. He's 0.1 of a second behind Andre Hildebrandt. Andre Hildebrandt has just got past Matty Renaud. So Andre Hildebrandt up to 6th position. And there Sean Olivier holds on to Timo Smit, gets past talk. It's happening quicker than what I can talk about it. Matty has gone off the circuit, so he's down to 10th position. It looks as though he's got going again. No, he hasn't. He's now down to 11th, and I'd be surprised if the damage... Oh, there's another big bang. Is that the flying bumblebee? I'm not sure who it actually hit. But certainly I don't think that was intended. Was that a slowdown for Sean Olivier? The gap now to Jonathan is 3 seconds, and with the slowdown coming, so here's the flying bumblebee up on Julian Brains. The Gerrit Beekers in 8th position, Julian Brains in 7th. Yeah, he's going to make a move on him. Matty Renaud got a slowdown penalty, but it disappeared immediately because he was doing scenic routes in the circuit, just trying to get back onto the circuit. So I'm sure that would have been recognised. Here's the change as Gerrit gets past Julian quite comfortably up the inside and then down the hill. He'll just consolidate that, probably hold a little bit of an inside line, which is not the ideal line. You clip the apex and you'll probably drift wide to the right, as he does, and then left again to the apex, which he does as well. So that's the racing line almost to a T. He drifts it out wide, but there's another corner coming to the right, so you want to get to the left-hand side of the circuit. No, Julian, that's not that much of the left, but nonetheless, if you see Julian got so far to the left that by a car's width he missed the apex on the right-hand side. So it's a flip-flop, I think, in 2 direction changes, and you've got to be well placed throughout to get the maximum speed through that set of corners.
Yeah, shame with the incidents that happened, because Matty was doing really good and all the way down to 13th at the moment. Let's see how far up the field can you make his way. Going to be difficult.
Yeah, which is, for the points, terrible for Jandre. He's in 11th. So not a great race for Jandre. He's up to 10th now, got past, and I always forget which one is which, one of the Van der Westhuizens. So he's fighting back for all he's worth. But look at this, 3.6 seconds that Jonathan leads Sean Olivier. Emily in 3rd, my goodness. So I'm not surprised, because Emily's a lady, is because she was involved in a hectic battle. She drives very, very well, and consistently so. And she has a battle of note, because she's got Jason Underwood right there behind her. So Jason is pushing to take 3rd position from Emily. Emily has the silver car with the blue. Jason has the car. There are 2 cars that are white with those lime green mirrors. I think his teammate is Matty, if I remember correctly. So Emily had a good run out of there. She sort of increased the gap by about a car length. So on Jason, the gap that Emily to Sean Olivier, 1st, 2nd and 3rd, unless Jason gets past Emily, is not going to change. The one change that might happen. But that being said, what happened to Jonathan? He must have made a mistake. He was way off into the distance, and now all of a sudden Sean Olivier is in the lead. So Emily gets penalty as well. So I can't remember what I said it was, 1.7 seconds? But he's dropping away. No, wait, where's Jonathan's in 4th now? That must have been a monster of an error to go from 1st to 4th.
Unless he got a slowdown and had to give it completely back. But that would have been a massive slowdown then.
Yes, and where's Emily gotten to now? She's in 2nd, but hasn't served her penalty yet, and if she serves it, Jason's going to get past her. Maybe she just decides to get out the way, get the slowdown done, let him go, and then race her own race again.
And of course, Jonathan is now right behind Emily in the slipstream as well.
Yeah. So he's... there's the change. So, well, it doesn't look as though it has changed. Just trying to make sure who's where. So Jason Underwood is back into 2nd, Emily into 3rd, Jonathan into 4th, Gerrit Beekers is into 5th. So I'm not sure what happened there, because I said Gerrit is having a nightmare. He was in 10th on the lap scoring monitor, and all of a sudden, whatever it is that did happen, Gerrit picked all the low-hanging fruits of it, and he finds himself in 5th position, and he's going to be a lot more happy with that. Where's Timo find himself? He's all the way down in 8th and not competitive enough on Julian, but he does have a slowdown, which means Morne is going to get past him. So if Timo serves slowdown, it's virtually guaranteed that Morne Deploy is going to get past him. So that might be a change for 8th and 9th. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, he's got to be careful with he's taking long to serve it. I think you have about 60 seconds to serve it, and you can maybe per corner just knock off a little bit. It has now disappeared, so hopefully it's all cleared. Rand van der Westhuizen now. Oh, sorry, Rudy, yeah.
Yeah, Andre Hildebrand is a DQ, and is that maybe because he didn't serve the slowdown penalty within the time limit that you just explained?
It could be, yeah. I did see he was still driving, and the next thing he was in the pit, so I'm not sure what caused it.
Yeah, and a DQ versus a DNF is disqualified versus a DNF did not finish. So DNF is usually if you have racetrack damage, you've driven into the wall, or somebody else has driven into you, or you into somebody else, that will result in a DNF. But if you have a steward's decision pending on you and you possibly didn't serve that in the allocated time frame, then you get disqualified from the race. It's a black flag event, essentially.
Jonathan right behind Emily again. Is he going to go up the inside
Right, so
here? I think he's got a bit of a run on her here.
Now, so Jonathan gets past, and he's into 3rd. Emily's in 4th. Gerrit Beekers in 5th. But Gerrit, well, we say a long way back, it's 9 minutes to go, but Gerrit has 1.1 seconds, so if he drives consistently, he can catch up to Emily. There you can actually see the distance between the Flying Bumblebee and Emily's silver and blue car. There goes a Flying Bumblebee in front of us now, and behind Gerrit is, which is the quicker of the Van der Westhuizens?
Rian van der Westhuizen.
Rian. So he's in 6th position, then Timo Smit, Morne Deploy. Oh, Jamre Dippenaar loses a position to Julian, takes it back immediately again. Here they are fighting it out with each other, the red bonneted car versus the green car. So Julian Brain's trying everything to stay. He's managing to stay in the top 10, and he'll do so because he's 9.5 seconds behind the other Van der Westhuizen.
Or ahead of the other Van der Westhuizen, yeah.
Ahead of the other Van der Westhuizen, yeah. So it's 10 seconds the gap. So I doubt they will settle that in 8.25 minutes. So Julian will finish 10th at least, which is still a good handful of points. But Jamre, I'm not sure what went wrong there, that he only is in 9th, but he's only 0.4 of a second behind Morne. So that's still worth chasing. There was an infringement that popped up and disappeared briefly. So interesting. I'm not sure what happened for Jonathan to go from 1.7 seconds in the lead to way down, and now he's sort of got back to 3rd, and he's only 0.3 of a second behind Jason. So Jason also has to concentrate quite hard to keep Jonathan behind him, because Jonathan has certainly a good turn of pace, and as you say, he's been a previous winner. I wouldn't say unluckily for him, he had to go Harvey Gous, would you believe, who's at the back of the field somewhere, has got a slowdown penalty, which is really the last thing that Harvey would want to do. But what I was trying to say is whether you say, we're sorry that Jonathan didn't take part in all the races, but he's one of the lucky people that could actually go on leave. So that's the benefits you have. You do go on leave, but you lose points, or you lose the races in which you can score points. So Gerrit Beekers up to 4th, Emily into 5th now. So holding on to that position, just see when they come towards us again. There's Jamre Dippenaar. Where's he down?
He just had a really good pass on Morne Deploy going into turn 1. That is not an easy corner to get by side, and he did a nice clean pass there.
Yeah, as I said in race 1, this is a nice wide circuit. So if you can get next to the car ahead of you early, oh, there's a bit of a wiggle. It's the car behind Jamre, I think that's Morne. And then behind them is Julian. So here comes Emily now. Emily has behind her Rian van der Westhuizen, and Timo Smit just behind him. So not be far behind Timo's Yandere, but it's 1.6 seconds. But Timo Smith is chasing really, really hard and takes 6th position, and it gets taken back from him again.
Just
So
putting
swap
up,
and swap back.
sorry to butt in, just also putting up the driver of the day before I forget. So if anyone would like to vote for driver of the day, you can scan it now, and you've got the next 4 minutes to put your votes in.
Right, so Emily gets a slowdown again, and she's 3 seconds ahead of Timo, so I don't think that'll bother her too much. She'll do the slowdown and then get her head down again and concentrate on staying on track, because certainly they've been coming thick and fast, have the warnings, and even potentially one of them that was not seen or adhered to is Andre Hildebrandt, and that resulted in DQ. If you're that far ahead in the straight, then just weave to the one side, slow down a little bit, and then get going again. That would probably be one of the better places to get it and get your car back on the racing line. But it's staying up there.
Parrot has managed to get past Emily, so he's slowly, I think, catching up to Jonathan. Looks like he's got good pace at this stage in the race.
Yeah, 5 minutes to go, and he is 1.8 seconds behind Jonathan. So it would be interesting to find out what mistake Jonathan made, because he was so far in the lead that I doubt that it could have been anybody running into him. And I don't think they are far enough. Oh, there's track limits and then some. So that might be Emily getting another one. So Harvey's still got a slowdown penalty unless it's a new one. But yeah, the system is quite strict. And as the guy said, the circuit is fun to drive, but you've got to drive the circuit in between the white lines. So Harvey still has his slowdown penalty up there. And Harvey is in 15th place, and it's only Caroline Jooster that's behind Harvey. And she's quite a way back, so Harvey might as well serve it and then go driving again.
Yeah.
Right, Rian van der Westhuizen is in 8th, and he's got, is that Mornay Deploy behind him in 9th. And that's only 0.2 a second. That's the silver car, shall I say, with the orange flash. It's silver on the bonnets, or it looks silver, maybe it's just grey, with a blue and then an orange flash on the bonnet and on the side. So that's Rian van der Westhuizen, and behind him is Mornay Deploy in the white car with a bit of red. Further back behind them in the green car, the military color green, is Julian Brains, but he's running, shall I say, a little bit of an isolated race. Not anybody to talk to in front of him or defend behind him. So he's just continuing until the checkered flag, as they all are. 3 minutes 20 to go. The gap now between Sean Oliphant and Jason Underwood just under 2 seconds. But Jonathan Benz is only 0.6 of a second behind Jason, and Gerard Beekes is 1.8 seconds behind Jonathan. Then Emily is 2.7 seconds behind Gerard, and Timo is 1.4 seconds behind Emily. So here comes Rian van der Westhuizen on Mornay. He's going to make the pass. It's actually a good slipstreaming spot. He gets alongside. He's got the inside line for the corner, but he doesn't have the momentum that takes him through the circuit, and it looks as though Rian manages to hold on to that position. So you not only have to get up on the inside, you also have to carry momentum through the corner. And the thing is, if you make the corner narrow, you've actually got to turn sharper, which is more difficult to control than a car that you just let it naturally take the wide flowing line through the corner. This one, especially this track at turn 1. Because the track is so wide, you can get it to flow through the corner naturally. So Jonathan Benz in 3rd position, only 0.6 behind Jason. There's Rian again looking backwards at Mornay Deploy, racing line. See those curbings are quite, I think they'll probably rattle the filling out of your teeth if you were to take them continuously. But Rian van der Westhuizen holding on, 0.1 of a second ahead of Mornay. Mornay in the white car with the red on the bonnet, predominantly white and a bit of red, but right there on the bumper of him, maybe just having to take a different point to brake. Drifts the car out wide again, and now he's up on the inside, but he'll have to run the outside through this left-hander, and that's going to make life very difficult for him. But then again, it looks as though Rian has to take the narrow line, the defensive line, and now he's drifting out wide, but so does Mornay. So chopping and changing here between, well, it doesn't change, but different racing lines between these two drivers, but they seem to be static here. It looks as though there's a charge from Mornay Deploy. Try to tuck it in the inside, but I think the next corner just negates that, and he has to go back onto the racing line and sit behind Rian van der Westhuizen again. They're, of course, behind Jan Ray, and Jan Ray is only 0.3 of a second behind Emily. So Emily might have a bit of defending to do with the last minute of this race upon him. Jason Underwood in second position has a slowdown penalty, and he has Jonathan Benz only 0.3 of a second behind him. So that could potentially affect the second and third position in this race. Emily has a slowdown as well, but she's got Van der Westhuizen almost 3 seconds behind her. So they've gotten past Emily, Jan Ray's past Emily, and the next car is 3 seconds back, so Emily can slow down. But Jason Underwood still has the slowdown penalty, 0.2. It looks as though he served it now, because now it's only 0.1 of a second that Jonathan is behind him.
Jason
So
is the
very
driver of the day as well.
Well done to Jason. Emily gets another, she gets a drive-through for ignoring the slowdown warning. That's going to drop Emily way down from 7th position. I'm not sure what the penalty is. If you're on the last lap, then you can't really do a drive-through penalty anymore.
No, that's going to be
I'm not sure how that
devastating.
gets served. Yeah.
So Sean Oliver is going to come across to take victory. This is the final lap.
And Jason holding on for dear life for second. Jonathan trying to take that second position, but not doing so at this stage.
These two still going at it here. Rian and Monet, they have actually changed positions.
Yeah, so Rian has lost that position to Monet. So right on the last lap, we did describe it for quite a long time. We stayed in car, but they eventually have managed to change that position around. Sean Olivier, looks as though that Macambi Macalia racing car has been well balanced, well set up, and well driven for the victory.
And in second place, Jason Underwood. Third place, Jonathan Benz. Fourth place, Gerrit Beckers. Fifth place, Timo Smit, recovering back to fifth. Good drive there. Andre Duppenau recovering back to sixth. Emily Benz across the line in seventh, but where will she actually end?
And that's going to be interesting how they decide that, or what the system decides on that one.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll just skittle her down as it works out the time, because I'm sure it'll be a time-based thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that, as you said, you have a certain time in which you have to serve the penalty, and it's best to get it done quicker than later, but nonetheless. Stan Beside note in 12th position.
Van der Westhuizen will take 13th. Harvey Goos will take 14th. Harvey is another driver that's just been chipping away, doing all the races, getting the points. And Caroline Hurst as well, also just carrying on, doing her thing, collecting all the points.
Here's our first DNF for the evening. Is that Johan Beekes?
Yes, he got a DNF, that's correct.
And then I think until Caroline crosses the line, that will be it. Great racing though. It's still interesting to see what mistake Jonathan made, because I thought with more than a second in the lead, you just have to drive consistently. But stranger things have happened before and will continue to happen.
Yeah, and as we see in the comments, of course, thank you very much for all the comments. Well-deserved driver of the day to Jason. Sean Oliver also having a really good drive tonight, getting race 2 victory. Well-deserved, managed to keep the gap there.
Yeah.
I'm going to just do a quick print screen, yeah.
My old saying, you've got to be in it to win it. And certainly Sean Olivier was there. And Jason Underwood got the second place. Jonathan Benz fought back bravely for third.
And Emily ends up 15th overall. We're going to jump to a quick ad break. We'll be back shortly for our top 3 interviews, so stick around till then. We'll see you shortly. All right, welcome back everybody. Of course, we are here for the completion of round 8 on the Portimao Grand Prix circuit in Portugal. We are joined with 2 of our top 3 drivers. So for the interviews, we have Jason Underwood, first overall, Sean Olivier, second overall, and Gerrit Beekers, third overall. Unfortunately, Sean Olivier is not here at the moment. If he is watching, he can still jump over and just let us know. But Jason, a great race. You seem to get a good first and second, so good overall. You qualified second, so good pace. It looked like you had different challenges in both the races, but how were the races from your point of view?
Hi Dennis, hi Sean. Yeah, race 1 was the most important thing was to get a good launch off the line. And I thought, from the practicing, I thought my race pace was pretty strong. So if I could get ahead of Gerrit off the line, then I thought I had a good chance in keeping him behind. But obviously, you know that flying bumblebee is always quick. So yeah, it was just one of those. I got a good launch, and then after that, just the first couple of laps was just to keep them behind me, and then build and progress slowly, and managed to set the fastest lap on the last lap of the race. So I just got into the groove, and that was good. And then second race was just a bit of waiting and being patient, starting from 10th. Had a good battle with Emily for about 3 or 4 laps, which was very intense. And then Jonathan came to the party, and then there was a bent sandwich for another 2 laps, and that was a bit scary, but it was good racing nonetheless. And then just not enough to catch Sean at the end, but happy with the overall win with 1 round left, so should be interesting.
Yeah, congratulations. And then, of course, Gerrit, you get third overall. You had a good pace tonight. You seem to have a bit of bad luck in race 2, but managed to still at least work your way up and still get third overall. I know when we were here before, you seemed to have really good pace around this circuit. Do you just like this circuit, or you just getting to grips with the car nicely as the championship goes on? But you definitely seem to have good pace. What was the secret to your form tonight?
Hi guys. Yeah, I know the circuit. We've done some endurance races here, and but yeah, I told Jason earlier that the circuit they did something different to the circuit. The circuit felt different. I didn't do a lot of practice. Didn't have time this week, so yeah. And when I rocked up here tonight, it just felt a little bit off. So I lacked a little bit of race pace, but that's fine. Yeah, and my races wasn't too clean tonight, so probably get some problems for that. But yeah, all good.
All right, Sean, do you want to ask the drivers any questions?
It's a pity Sean Olivier isn't here. Thanks, Dennis. I was actually just interesting to hear what had happened to Jonathan Benz being so far in the lead in the second race. And then when we looked again, he was no longer in the lead and sort of quite a way down. But other than that, well fought back from Gerrit and Jason. It's tough, I think, when you do well in race 1 and then you've got to fight through the field to get anywhere near good scoring position in race 2. But certainly we did have comment out of the grandstand that you didn't get in enough practice, Gerrit, so well informed. But great racing nonetheless. I don't have any specific questions. Just one, potentially. I'm not sure which set of curves it is. It's a double change of direction where you think you've got, and I think that happened more to Mornay than to anybody else. You think you've got the inside line, but the person that's actually taking the wider line and the racing line flows through better and you actually lose speed. I think also the same happens at turn 1 where you think you've got up on the inside, but the person has the slingshot effect through turn 1 and just carries the speed through the corner better. This is also one of those circuits, and I'll ask the question to Jason, that in some instances you've got to think possibly a corner or 2 ahead before you attack or defend.
Yeah, 100%, Sean. Especially sector 1. I don't mind giving up the position into T1 if the guy's overtaking you on the inside, because on the outside you get a better drive into 2 and 3, but then also corner 4 and 5, the guy on the inside there gets a better drive out. So that whole first sector you can change positions about 3 or 4 times, which is quite fun because like you said quite rightly, you have to plan the overtake 2 or 3 corners ahead. But yeah, it makes for some good racing, and it's quite strategic because sector 2 is quite tight. So fall in and then get a good drive out of the last corner down that I think it's about 1.5 kilometers straight.
Yes.
And then all the strategic things start happening again. You got to start thinking again. So it's a very nice track, very flowing, and lots of opportunities for overtakes. But obviously you've got to be careful. You can't just send one down and hope for the best.
I've actually just thought of a question for Gerrit then. A circuit like this that has elevation changes, is that interesting for you compared to, shall we call them, the airfield circuits that we run in the UK, where you actually have, and in a car like this, which has, shall we say, not enough power when you're going up a hill, racing drivers always want more power. So with a circuit like this where you have elevation changes, do you like tracks that actually have elevation changes, or do you prefer those that are flattish?
Yeah, that depends. This is a circuit where you have to carry speed. You have to carry the speed through the corners, and especially with the elevation change. I don't know the name of the corner, but it's that downhill right there. You actually blind going up there. Sitting in the car, you can't see the turn coming. So yeah, I do enjoy the elevator. They call this the roller coaster, if I'm not wrong. If I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Yeah.
It makes sense.
It's definitely some. There's one really blind corner on you.
Okay, that's it. Back to you, Dennis.
All right, I'm just going to say thank you and well done to our drivers. I'm going to just kick you all out for now. So thank you and congratulations on your top 3 positions.
Cheers, everybody.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, well, that of course is our interviews of our top drivers. Of course, we head into Brands Hatch Indy for the next race, and then the final round, which will be the Hockenheim National Circuit, which is almost the same as the Grand Prix circuit. Just I think 2 of the corners are slightly shorter, so there's a little bit less of a straight, but otherwise it's much the same layout, and that should actually make for some really fantastic racing. It does still include the stadium section. That all is exactly the same. It's just I think it's the run out of sector 1 into sector 2 is slightly shorter. But otherwise, yeah, thank you very much for everyone watching. That's been a fantastic race tonight. I think, Sean, you've also had quite a entertaining race tonight. Lots of action happening on circuits, and there were quite a lot of drivers fighting throughout the field. So we saw guys all the way down, even Harvey Coast having a bit of a battle at the back there with some of the drivers, Stan, and I think it was Julian there at one stage, as well as Rudy, a couple of guys, and then Julian made his way forward. We saw battles at the front, battles in the middle, so it's been quite an exciting round for the drivers.
It's definitely something to worth commentating on, and I've had a lot of fun, and I actually am just amazed at how rusty one can get by just missing one race meeting. So apologies tonight for specifically missing the Van der Westhuizens. I should have had them on point, but it happens, and they both are Van der Westhuizens, so I didn't have my entry list next to me. But it'll be better next week, and certainly are looking forward to Brands Hatch Indy.
All right, thanks to everyone. And remember if you have any safe issues, you can head over to thesafeboys.com. And if you enjoyed this, remember to hit the like and subscribe button, and to catch us next week for round 9 of our 10-round championship from Brands Hatch Indy. So until then, have a great week, and we will catch you all next week.
Good night, everybody.